This next segment is brought to you by the DC Public Service Commission, whose mission is to serve the public interest by ensuring that financially healthy utility companies provide safe, reliable, and quality utility services at reasonable rates for the District of Columbia customers. Your energy, your message.
The DC Public Service Commission is building a path to help our city achieve its clean energy goals. We're studying how distributed energy resources, or DERs, allow communities to generate clean, potentially cheaper energy from renewable sources and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We've also prioritized adoption of electric vehicles, or EVs, as another way to make the district's energy grid more sustainable. We're helping utility customers access data to track their energy usage and make their home more efficient. Through the DC Power Connect website, utility customers can shop and choose an energy supplier offering clean energy options. The DC PSC is bringing stakeholders, policymakers, residents, and businesses together to find new and innovative ways to meet the city's aggressive climate goals. 100% renewable energy by 2032. Learn more about the DC PSC's clean energy efforts at dcpsc.org/clean energy.
Thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to introduce to some and to reintroduce to others, because he's been no stranger to Let's Talk, Chairman of the Public Service Commission, Emile Thompson. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome. Thank you for having me back, Denise.
Oh, it's always a pleasure because you all do so much in the community. And I know I gave an intro and we just saw a video, but in your words, tell us about the Public Service Commission and how you serve district residents.
Yeah, so the Public Service Commission of the District of Columbia, our primary role is to oversee the utilities, PEPCO, Washington Gas, and Landline Verizon DC that operate in DC. And when we say oversee them, we regulate them to ensure that they provide safe, reliable, and quality utility services at reasonable rates to DC customers. And so we serve as that check against the utilities to make sure that they are doing what they're supposed to be doing for the DC residents. And we also take all of this into context with the district's clean energy goals. And so we make sure that the way they are operating is in alignment with the city's goals.
Before we talk about the Power Path DC project that you all are working with and some other things related to Berry Farms, I know that in the news this week, it was reported that I think it's Washington Gas residents are about to experience a rate increase. Anything you can tell us about that? The report was that, each person is going to experience about a $15 increase in their service. Can you give us a little background on that or prepare us for what we're coming down the pike?
Yes. So what I'll say is, yes, Washington Gas has filed a rate case application. And as part of that process, they file an application, and then you have various parties who then respond. Parties like OPC, the Office of People's Counsel, which is the statutory representative of the DC residents. You also have the Sierra Club, DC Water, the federal government, all the entities that use gas in DC then file comments and testimony as well. What I want to emphasize is just because Washington Gas says that they want to increase rates $15, that does not mean the commission has to. The commission looks at the application and decides what's the appropriate amount. And so that's the process we're going through right now. It's actually very timely that you bring this up, because we had a community hearing last week at the Petworth Library. 2 weeks prior to that, we had one over in Ward 7 at the Benning Road Library. And then we'll have one, our last community hearing is upcoming Monday, actually. So Monday, 3 days from now, at the Public Service Commission. Sorry, I take that back, not Monday, Wednesday at the Public Service Commission. And people will be able to call in if they're unable to be there in person, but to really provide their comments and their perspectives about this rate increase.
Interesting. I'm not looking at a calendar, but I think that's April the 30th, right? Wednesday, April 30th.
And I'm going to double check. I'll double check that and make sure I have the right information. But we certainly encourage the community to come out and speak, and because it's very important that we hear their perspective and how these increases will affect them.
Right, right. Everything is going up these days, so it's almost no shock to hear about increases. But our pocketbooks are not going up at the same rate. So yeah, I'm glad that we were able to talk about that. Anything you can share more about that before we sign off? But let's talk about some of the projects that you all, the Public Service Commission, is working on right now. We've got the Power Path DC pilot project. Talk about that. What is that about?
Yeah, so Power Path DC was a project, a case that we really started about 10 years ago. And the primary idea behind it was, how do we modernize our electric delivery system such that we can meet the district's clean energy goals, right? And so how do we unlock our system so we can have more rooftop solar, so that people can charge their vehicles, so that people have more autonomy and choice over their bill. And one of the things that really came out of it was this Power Path DC pilot projects. Now, these pilot projects, which is very unique, is they're not funded by ratepayer money, which is a big thing. You probably recall about 7 years ago, there was a big Pepco Exelon merger. And as part of that, there was about $20 million that was set aside from Exelon to fund these pilot projects. And so once that money was set aside, we went down the path of trying to figure out what's the best use of this money to really enhance our grid infrastructure, empower residents, and again, support the district's transition to renewable energy. So Power Path DC is working to deliver a host of benefits for district residents, including cleaner air, lower energy costs, and improved grid reliability.
It's interesting. And no, I had forgotten, really didn't realize that money was set aside for these projects. And it's, I don't want to get into politics, but at the same time, while some people are putting their brakes on some of this renewable energy agenda, the cities and states seem to keep moving forward because, that's the direction we're headed in. Yeah. So we haven't been able to turn the ship around, or folks haven't been able to turn the ship around. So it sounds like DCPS is Public Service Commission is still moving forward. And then you've got a project at Berry Farms redevelopment. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so currently there are 3 pilot projects in process. The first one is what you're talking about, the community heat pump project. And so what that is a large-scale geothermal heat pump system that's being installed both at Berry Farms redevelopment and the Meadow Greens Court. And it's funded by a pair of $2.5 million grants coming from that money. The partners include the Preservation of Affordable Housing, Bright Core Energy, and Energium Group. These systems will reduce carbon emissions, stabilize heating and cooling costs, and improve air quality for residents. The drilling has actually begun for the Berry Farms project, whereas the Meadow Greens Court project is still in the planning stage. I think what's particularly important about this one is, we talk about, in your intro, you talked about ensuring development was happening equitably across DC. And this is a clean energy project that is going into some of the neighborhoods that need it the most, right? And so especially are proud of that project. I'll briefly talk about the other 2. One is the solar aggregation advanced inverter project. And that project will harness advanced inverter technology to enhance communication between rooftop solar installations.
What is the word you're saying, Emile? Because I'm missing that. You said ver?
Oh, inverter. Sorry.
Inverter. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, doke.
And that will, sorry, there's a fly in here. Sorry. It will help manage solar hosting capacity, so that will empower more households to get solar and reduce the cost of not only upgrades to the grid, but also allow homeowners to have reduced electricity bills. And then the last project is a transactive neighborhood renewable microgrid. And this neighborhood scale microgrid will serve about 50 to 200 homes and buildings, enabling independent operation during outages. So really building resiliency. So if we have a big storm come through, perhaps this will allow them or prevent them really from being disconnected. And that's currently being, we're searching for more RFPs. So that's on our website at dcpsc.org. And that RFP is going to be open until June 17th, 2025.
DC, we always talk about, the fact that we're a small city in size, even though we have a lot of people. But I'm just curious, when people want to learn more about what the Public Service Commission, your projects are, what's the best way to learn about that? Is it going to the website or what?
Yeah, the website's always the best place, dcpsc.org. We have, if you go on the right, I believe it's the right side of that page, usually we have our RFPs, a request for proposals posted right on the front page. But it also contains all the information about what we do, resources to residents, resources about how you can lower your bill, updates on major cases such as the rate case. So it's a very informative website, and I encourage anybody to go. You can also call us if need be, and we provide information on the website as well.
And now, we were all locked in. It's hard to believe that COVID was as long ago as it was, but then it seems like it was yesterday. But now people are out and about. Community meetings are being held more throughout the city. Does the Public Service Commission send folks out to talk to residents about some of the things that, they may not go online to read?
Yeah. So let me say two things. One, I told you earlier that the next Washington Gas rate case hearing is on Wednesday. I apologize, I had it wrong. It's actually on Tuesday, so April 29th. April 29th at 6 p.m. in the commission hearing room right downtown at 1325 G Street. So we certainly have that. We also are very active at community events. Our Office of Consumer Affairs, they go to roughly about 50 community events a year, which equals out to almost about one a week. And so they're at the senior nights, they're at community centers. They do them in conjunctions with major events throughout the city. When the mayor has her New Year's Eve walk or the 5K for Women's History Month. So they are very active. They also talk about a lot of initiatives we push in terms of winter ready and summer ready DC. So they are certainly out in the community.
Wonderful. Well, Emile Thompson, Chairman of the DC Public Service Commission, thank you so very much for being with us today, for sharing this information, for sponsoring this segment. I like your tagline, your energy, your voice. And so, again, thanks again for being with us here at the WIN TV at Let's Talk.
Always a pleasure, and thank you for having me, Denise. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
All righty. Bye-bye. So now, let's see.